So part two. I kind of combed out my hair a little because it looks like crap. I didn't know anything to do with it, but anyway, leave the hair. The second part of the uh, driving test. So we're in the cab of the bus, and it's pretty obvious that the whole system is like very confusing, and I think he knows it, and I think all the other drivers who did it must have done the same thing, because he finally says, okay, you know what, so tell me about the air brake system. So I said, and so I went ahead and explained to him that the air brake system is all about air being in the air tanks, and your brakes are controlled about by how much air is in your air tanks. And you either, in order to I'm going to see what that does. Nope. Nope. Anyway, so the fact that your brakes is controlled by air means that you don't want to lose any air, or you don't want to lose too much air. And once your tanks get to a certain level of air, you're in danger. You need to pull over, because actually the bus becomes unoperable if you don't have enough air. It starts slowing down and shuts down, basically. So anyway, here, sorry, I'll try this. Nope, that light doesn't work there. Nope, nope, nope. Goodness, what is up with the lights? Sorry about that. I never have enough lights. Anyway, so we get through that part. I explained the air brake system to him, and I guess he's happy. He's like, "Well, yeah, I guess you know what the air brakes are." He says, okay, well, so now it's the driving portion. Let's just pull out, and so I have to start the engine. You don't put a key in; you just press a button. So I press the button, and we started rolling out. And as we're rolling out, I look, and they're like, I think there were like six male drivers, all like in a little cluster. And then there are another little cluster over here, and another little cluster over here. And I guess they were all watching me. I don't know. I guess, like I said, I don't inspire confidence, right? So they're all watching me. I guess they think I'm gonna pull out of there and wreck the whole yard or something. So they're all watching me. So whatever. I'm used to this, right? I'm 50, dude. I've been in this body for 50 years. I know people don't trust me just because of size. So anyway, we pull out, and which is funny because I'm not really that short. I'm not short. I can imagine if I was 5'even" or under, somebody would say, that would make them least likely to trust to have confidence in me. But I'm 5'4", or almost 5'4". I'm like 5'3¾". So, and although I'm skinny, I'm 5'4". I would think that apparently weight is more of an important factor than height, I guess. But anyway, so we pull out fine. Those people don't get what they want. We pull out, and he starts instructing me on where to turn. And we almost immediately after leaving the area, we end up on the freeway. And he tells me to transverse over to the far right, far left lane. And I do that, I do that every day. And so it's no big deal. I get over there, and he's like, really good, really well. You did really well on that. It's like, okay. So as we're going along, I realized that there is an accident up ahead, and he had told me to stay in this lane. So I made sure everything was clear, and I got over to another lane, and I said, I had to get over because there's an accident up ahead, and cars are starting to slow down. So he says, good job, good catch, good job. So anyway, we keep going, and we go through the whole road. Test, and I realized that when we first started that he was nervous because he was hanging on, and he was looking, every car we passed he'd look, and he was trying to check and see whether I was in the middle of the lane, or hugging one side too much. And so we get off the freeway, and we go to one of our stops, and it's in a parking lot, and this bus is, I'm not sure whether it's any longer than our normal buses, or it seems longer because it doesn't have a nose. A bus that doesn't have a nose, the front goes all the way out to where the nose is, and I think that's what it is. It's the same size, but because the front extends, because the driver is right up against the bumper almost, you feel like it's a longer bus, but I don't think it's a longer bus. It is definitely higher. And that's one of the things he said. I said, oh, one of the things I commented said to him when we were driving was, oh, it's pretty steady. I would think that, because I've driven some school buses, and one of the things I noticed when you get on the freeway and you pick up speed with the wind blowing and everything, it feels like it sways a little. But didn't have that problem in this bus. And it's like, you think it's steadier? And it's like, yeah, pretty. So anyway, so we get on the freeway, or we get off the freeway, and we're going to, and we go to the parking lot, and for the first time in my life, I hit the curb. I'm like, what? And it's so funny. I was like, what? I never hit the curb. What's up with that? And he's like, well, so what you need to realize is that you have an overhang because we're right up against because my seat goes right up against the nose of the bus. That means the tire is behind me. The tire is not in front of me, it's behind me. So you have to realize that you can actually go forward a lot more than you think, as long as there's not a tall tree. But you can go forward and actually clear the medium that's in front of you with a little hang. The overhang of the bus will go right over it. So I tried that and it worked fine. We got through there and got through the driving portion, and he's like, you know what? So we go back to the office, and he's like, yeah, he says, we want to hire you. I was like, really? And he asked me, how did I think I did? Yes, I thought it, rather than be overconfident, I'd say I, I would. I said, I think I'd get a 7 from 1 to 10. And he said, really? He says, you got much, much higher. He said, you'd probably get a 9. So I was like, really? I was like, thank you. So anyway, he said, so when can you start? So I said, well, I'd like to give my employer 2 weeks notice. And he said, he says, you can give them a 2 week notice, you can give them a week notice, you can give them a 3 day notice, or you can give them a day notice. It doesn't matter to us. In fact, we would like you to start tomorrow. So I said, wow. I said, yeah, I don't know. Start tomorrow, that'd be kind of tough, because I know what's going on at where I'm working currently. I know they're losing drivers, and I also know that, it takes one of our managers who helps drive when we're short drivers. He's on vacation, so I'm like, well, I think it put them in a bind if I left tomorrow. And he's like, well, how about if we go get your drug test, because from there we can go forward. If we go get your drug test, and for the rest of the week, you can finish you can finish the paperwork. You can come in and finish the paperwork. So that's kind of what I ended up doing was, I give the employer, actually I didn't give my employer a 3 day notice. I was planning to, and the manager who was going on vacation on the next day, I think he told my boss that, because I had asked him if he would do it, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. You should do it. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, So the next morning I go to work, and I'm looking for the van that I drive around, and I can't find the van. So I call my boss and I say, do you want me to wait here, or do you want me to go on and pick up the van later, or what? And he says, oh, no, wait there. I'll come in and give you the van. So as soon as I get in the van, he says, Leona, I hear you're leaving us. Is that true? You're leaving us in 3 days? And I'm sitting there, I'm going, finally I was like, yes. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do plan on leaving, and hopefully soon. So I said yes, and he says, well, if you leave and things don't work out, you can't come back. If you want to come back and you ask them to come back, we're not going to hire you. You can go back to the smaller division, but we won't have you here. I will say no, because it's a matter of principle. It's a matter of good faith. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, first of all, I don't like ultimatums. It's in threats, really. He's threatening that if I don't give him 2 week notice, he won't hire me back if I need him to. So, and truthfully, if things don't work out, I'm not going back there. I don't want to go back to that job. For one thing, I'll try to find a job that makes close to what I'm going to make now, or a little more than what I make now. I am not going to want to go back there, because they paid like $10 less than what I will be making. So no, I don't want to go back. And this manager has never cut me any slack. You know, everybody else he cuts slack, but me, nope. In fact, one time I lightly tapped the standalone sign backing up because of another driver, you know, something another driver did, and the sign fell over. And all we did was stand the sign back up, no damage, nothing. He gave me 4 points for it. Another driver, one morning, trying to pull out of the lot, backed into the railing and pulled forward and ripped the bumper out and twisted the bumper, which means they're, you know, they're going to have to do an extensive welding job and it's going to cost money. And he gave her 2 points and he gave me 4 points. And I was like, what? And so all of that went through my mind, you know, this guy has never given me any slack. And it's almost as if he wanted, I went up there, I went to that job with another white employee. And between the two of us, I could tell he wanted me, from everything that he did, it seemed like he wanted me to fail and the white guy to stay, right? But it worked out. The white guy, I think he left after July, August, September, October, November. I think he left after 5 months, and I have been up there over a year now. So yeah, I understand that I understand that he wanted me to stay, but you know, I have to do what's best for me. I mean, he knows my situation too. He knows I live in my van, so I pretty much have to make choices at a certain point in my life. I have to make choices that work for me. It would work for him if I stay, but it won't work for me if I stay, because this place is hiring a lot of people. So if I can get my feet in the door first, for one thing, that means seniority. Anybody who is hired after me, I have seniority over, so I have more say in routes and everything else. So anyway, that's how it's going with the job. I start on Tuesday, and I'll have to let you guys know how it goes.